Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I am super excited to host another Instagram Live today. Today, we are joined by one of our division directors in our Raleigh office. So I am going to let him in just a second. Okay, let's see. Hey, Alec, how's it going?
Hi, Ali. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's sunny here. It's about 80 degrees in Pittsburgh, so can't
Amazing.
complain.
It's a big holiday weekend. I love to hear
I
it.
I know. How's everything been in Raleigh?
It's good. It's good. It's hot. We got a hot market, a hot day, hot summer ahead of us. We're excited.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you everyone for joining us as well. Just to kind of kick things off, so we have here Alec McDaniel, who is the division director of our Raleigh Technologies team, and he's been here since 2015. So, Alec, thank you again for joining us. I thought it would be great to really just kick it off and get to hear your story. So I thought it'd be great to first start off to really learn, how you first got into staffing in general, and then how you got to Beacon Hill and how it's been so far.
Yeah, totally. I appreciate it, and it's exciting to have a chance to share some of my story and kind of talk about our team here in Raleigh, just in general. I'm from New England. I went to college, and when I was graduating, I kind of didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to do something where I could be like in a salesy, environment. Like I definitely wanted to. I feel like when I was a little kid, my when people were like, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" I was like, "Well, I just want to be rich." That was my initial goal. Not all the way there yet, but getting there when we get time for sure. But I just like didn't really know,
Mhm.
like I felt like I wanted to be in a situation where I could um, use my like brain to work, right, and like come up with ideas, solve problems, be creative. And I didn't really know, honestly, that the staffing agency even existed. I feel like when I was getting out of school, it just wasn't like a career path like it is today. I think now when I go to career fairs or I'm kind of talking to the next generation of people coming into Beacon Hill, the staffing and recruiting business is extremely desirable. So I think a lot of people want to work here because you have kind of the flexibility. I think your income potential is really limitless, and I just think it's a great job where you can create a really nice lifestyle for yourself, but also kind of have that work-life balance that I think is really, really important these days. So I
Mhm.
kind of, like most people, just kind of fell into it. Like I was interviewing for jobs out of school. I actually worked for a different staffing company in Boston in our headquarters, but I always kind of heard about Beacon Hill, and they had such a great reputation. I think we still do. But I was like, man, those people at that company are the real deal. So fortunately, I was able to get connected with some people here on our Boston team, and ultimately ended up starting as a staffing consultant back in 2015. So I just kind of fell
Love it.
into it. Honestly, it wasn't something that I knew that I wanted to do. But honestly, had I known that this was like such a great career path, I probably would have given it a little bit more thought before. You know?
Yeah. Honestly, I think it's funny too because every time you talk to anyone who's in recruiting, everyone has a very similar background, or they also say that, they haven't really heard about staffing before coming into the staffing industry. So I think a lot of people have a very similar background to that as well. But great. And so obviously you are the director of our technology team in Raleigh. So can you tell us a little bit about the office? I believe it's a newer office, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
We started officially in February of 2022, so we're definitely new down here. I think the triangle, as we call it, here in North Carolina, kind of the eastern part, like Raleigh and Charlotte, are kind of the main two like metro areas in North Carolina. So
Hmm.
the kind of triangle for us is Raleigh, Durham, and then RTP, which is Research Technology Park, which is kind of like the Silicon Valley of the East Coast. So
Hmm.
we started, like I said, about 2 years ago. We moved into a great office. I'm actually here. We're right downtown Raleigh on Fayetteville Street. I don't know if I can like flip my camera around, but we have a beautiful view of downtown and like
Yeah,
this
let's see it.
brand new office that I think we all love so much. Let me see. So there's like our nice little like view from our conference room. We've got like
Love
kind of
it.
a little like modern glass vibes around. So I feel like there's like that's our little manager's office in there. So if you go in there, you get the bull, get the horns a little bit. No, it's awesome. Like we have a really great gym in here. It's a super kind of like fancy building, and it's just great being downtown, right? Raleigh's really vibrant. I think it's growing a ton, and there's just a lot of investment coming into the Triangle here or into the greater Raleigh area. So we've got some huge companies, right, like Cisco, IBM, Facebook, Apple is building a campus here. So it's just an incredibly exciting market for us.
Hmm.
Um, and when we moved into our office last summer, we were joined by three other Beacon Hill divisions. So we kind of like joke down here that Beacon Hill, we're like the southern headquarters of Beacon Hill because we've got our technologies team, which is amazing, and then we've got our Beacon Hill Life Sciences team that focuses on like clinical placements and working on more like kind of pharma biotech type of opportunities. We've got a Beacon Hill financial team that's awesome. They're great. And so they sit kind of right behind where our team is. And we've got Beacon Hill Associates too. So we've got four of our 8 Beacon Hill divisions down here. And I think that each of us are always kind of looking for, that next generation of people or just any great hire that's going to be able to come in and help us to grow the market and really grow Beacon Hill's presence in North
Yeah.
Carolina.
That's incredible. I mean, I was lucky enough to
Yes,
visit your office
I
and your
remember that was
team.
so fun. Yes.
So I'll definitely have to get back next time I'm in town. But no, you guys have such a great office, such a great team as well. Obviously, your division, but all the other divisions, I feel like you all work together so well. Everyone is so collaborative and supportive of one another. So you guys are really building
Yeah.
a great team there.
It is awesome. Like I think that it's one of the coolest things about just Beacon Hill in general, and then our office specifically. I say this all the time, but I feel like Beacon Hill is one of these really rare companies where Jeff McLaren, who's our managing director, says it all the time. Like we put our team first, right? And I think our team is always viewed as senior leaders as our most valuable asset. So a lot of other companies say it's their client base or their networks or whatever. For us, like our team is the absolute top. And so for me, and I think for a lot of the other leaders in some of the other divisions, what's most important is giving people an opportunity to really grow their career, right? Like when I started here 9 years ago, I was in a much different place than I am now, just learning the business, kind of trying to figure out what recruiting is all about. And over the last 9 years, because I've worked really hard and I care and I've taken advantage of the opportunities that Beacon Hill's put in front of me, I've been able to build my career to a level that I honestly didn't know if I would ever get to. Still
Yeah.
at a pretty early stage in my own personal development. And so I don't mean that to talk about myself. I mean it to say that I can honestly and like firmly state that anyone who is hardworking, capable, and wants to create a future and opportunity for themselves can do so at Beacon Hill. It's not easy, you know. It certainly requires a lot of hard work, and there are some ups and downs you got to go through along the way. But if you can figure it out, rely on some of the support systems and some of the great people and leadership, and we have the mentorship program, we have our holiday party, we have our outings, like there's just so much excitement. So for us in Raleigh to kind of continue that, legacy or tradition that Beacon Hill has of just growing and investing and hiring the right people and really like
Mhm.
allowing them to do their thing and just focus on what's best for, we always say like what's best for our customer and best for our candidate is just naturally the best for us. So
Yeah.
it's really exciting the fact that we have 4 different divisions down here because we collaborate all the time, right? We talk about certain accounts we're going after, or different companies, or just kind of like finding those opportunities to build together as a team because the way we look at it is whether it's our life sciences division or technologies or financial, if we're going out and representing Beacon Hill and representing ourselves in the best way, then our office is going to grow. And we have big goals down here. I think all of us, we want to be a top office. We want to continue to climb to some new and really exciting heights. And I feel like we've got great people to help us do that now, but we're always looking for the future to get more of the best and the brightest in here to help
I love
us.
it. Yeah, you guys are going to be on top soon. So everyone,
Hey,
everyone else
singing from
better
the
watch
rooftops,
out.
Allie. I agree. I'm right there with you.
I love it. I love it. Well, obviously you talked a little bit about your office, and as you mentioned, a lot of teams do cool office traditions or fun quarterly events. Can you chat a little bit about if you
Mm.
do any fun office traditions and what some of your fun events are?
Yeah, we have a ton actually. It's really cool because I think across many of our Beacon Hill offices, we do our quarterly outings, which are super fun, right? So we've done some really cool ones over time. We did like a cooking class, and this is for all of our divisions too. So it's not just my or our technology team. All 4 of our divisions come together. We've also got Jamie Baird on here on our learning and development team. Just a quick shout out to Jamie because she's here in Raleigh and we'll pop in every once in a while. But we've done, like I said, cooking classes. We've done like a top golf thing. We just did a really cool like bowling kind of like golf simulator event that was super fun. We do a lot of volunteering stuff too, actually. So we volunteered at an animal shelter last year that was amazing. We just did something actually with like a pet adoption place recently. We volunteered at like a farm before, and we had like a hilarious day. We actually dug like a huge ditch like across this whole farm. It was not the most glamorous work, but definitely a memorable one for those that were on my team that did that. So for us, it's like we want to, we want to win business obviously and grow, but we really want to invest in the community. I think
Mhm.
relationships are so important in our business, and so for us, like we just did a cool thing with Big Brother, Big Sister of the Triangle, a couple of weeks ago at a bowling event, and so we really just love being involved in different things. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
You hear me? Oh, sorry. We just love getting involved in different things around the community, and it's just great to come together and give back a little bit.
Mhm.
And even with our jobs too, right? Like we really try to work with candidates that are underserved or maybe have less opportunities and give them chances to build a career and kind of do the same thing.
Yeah.
So traditions wise, we definitely have a few good ones. I feel like my whole team would make fun of me because I am notorious for little weird like dad jokes and sayings that are hilarious. So I feel like everybody always like gets a kick out of those for sure. We play Wordle on our rec meetings on Wednesday mornings. That's another really good one. I feel like our streak is pretty like I don't know if we've ever lost honestly. We did connections for a little bit, but that was like kind of
Yeah.
hard. So now we've backed up that kind of. But we have the Wordle, which we love. We do trivia on Fridays. So we've got my guy Kendall Wright, the trivia expert. So like as we're kind of winding down on like a Friday afternoon, Kendall has amazing trivia for us. He does like really cool stuff that's just like North Carolina based. I think he did one that was like movies. It was like a scene from a movie, and you had to like guess which movie it was. So we love our Friday trivia. Um, we do a Friendsgiving event every year that's awesome. So we do kind of like a big potluck where everybody comes around. We just play games and hang out and eat a ton of really good food. We run a lot of contests down here too. So it's actually something we do across our whole region. We've got one going right now actually for Memorial Day when I think everybody's excited to start their summer and get a little bit of extra time off. So I'm happy to say most of our team members in Raleigh have achieved our contest and actually earned Friday and Tuesday off next week, which is very
Love
exciting.
it.
So we love that. We've got our summer Fridays too. So depending on as you're having certain success and kind of putting deals together as we're going from Memorial Day through Labor Day, you have the opportunity actually to earn every Friday off based on the number of placements that you're putting together. So for us, I think a good way to kind of boil down or synthesize the Raleigh culture would be kind of like a really dialed in mentality, and we take ourselves extremely seriously. We want to work, we want to come through for our customers, we want to come through for our candidates and our teammates and our colleagues, but we want to have a little bit of fun along the way too. And we've got such a diverse mix in here of people that just graduated and some of our recent grads that came in 2023 who are doing awesome. I'm really excited about the class that we have coming in 2024. So I'm excited to have them get in here, and also other people too, right? Like we have parents and people that have families and that support, their own, lives, and people that have kids that are getting older and going to school. So I feel like we just have a really good, diverse mix.
Mhm.
And again, one of the like driving mottos to me at Beacon Hill is just being there and understanding, what somebody wants, and it's our responsibility as leaders to help them to get there.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to think if we have any other like great traditions. We're about to hit a big milestone, so when we do that, we're going to go out to like an amazing dinner and celebrate as a whole team, and we're just looking forward to continuing to grow and just making it happen. You
That's
know?
incredible. Is your team also doing the walking challenge? That's pretty big at Beacon Hill right now.
Yeah, I know. I've seen that. I don't. I feel like there's some real heavy hitters out there, so I don't know if we're in the top 10 of that by any means. But I do know that I do know that we're walking out here.
That's all that matters.
Totally.
But no, that's incredible. I mean, anytime I talk to candidates, I always say it's that work hard, play hard mentality. And that's exactly what you described, right? You have to work hard in this job to be successful, but it's also important to still have fun and still have these fun office traditions. And I feel like you have built such a great collaborative team where everyone works together well, wants to see each other succeed, but also works hard to hit their own goals. So I
Totally, yeah,
love
it's
everything
really amazing.
that you
I
shared.
blame a lot of that on you. You've helped us to hire some really great people over the time. But I think ultimately,
Thanks.
for me and kind of our whole division, it's like here we are a newer office, right? And we've got it's not easy. That's like one of the things. It's like it takes a little bit of work. It takes some dedication. It takes a little bit of time. I was talking to one of our staff consultants who joined last year just about some advice on some of the stuff we're going to talk about today, and it was like that was one of her pieces of feedback, was that it takes a little bit of time, right? And I think that that's another great thing about Beacon Hill, is that we really want to invest in people. And for us as leaders, as managers, that's our number one goal. And the thing that I think we really talk about in our leadership meetings and in strategic meetings is like, how are we there for our teams, right? And how are we empowering them to be successful? And I think that that's one of the things that anyone that's joining Beacon Hill could take advantage of or kind of look forward to, is you will be surrounded by such a great and supportive group of leaders that want nothing more than to see you succeed. And I think for us, like, we communicate a lot. There's a lot of email that we get on my team any given day. I feel like it's like 100, 200 a day sometimes. So one of the things and emails I love the most are when kind of like we get one win on the team, everyone celebrates. And so as you look into our business, right, and we have job openings from our customers and our staffing consultants that are submitting candidates there, many times our staffing consultants will be competing against one another to get the fill or to actually close that position. And so one of the things that I really value is when you have two people that had both of their candidates interviewing for the same job, and one of them gets selected and the other is the first to be like, hey, amazing job, like you crushed it, I'm so happy for you. So I think that like really cool, competitive, but like friendly and supportive approach, in my opinion, in a sales organization is extremely rare. And I think because Raleigh is such a growing, lucrative, and exciting market right now, there is just so much opportunity that even if that person doesn't get that one fill, like they know they're going to the next time. And that team member is going to be there giving them a huge high five and giving them a congratulations as well. So I think for us, it's like that real balance between wanting to win and being competitive and driving, but also, you know, supporting those around you and being the first to step in and offer advice. Or like I heard one of our staffing consultants that was a little more senior helping a more junior staffing consultant last week, and they were searching on the same position. So like this person was literally helping someone else to try to find the candidate for the same role, which to me is just amazing, because I think in a lot of other, you know, sales organizations that doesn't really happen, right? It's very much like a me first, and again, I appreciate and respect that, but I think best case scenario is when you have people that are aligned with the same mission, the same goals, you know, and kind of just a desire and willingness to really push forward and work hard and find that success. So it's really easy to celebrate when people have those big wins.
Yeah, that's such an incredible story. Literally everything that you're telling us is what I tell
Oh,
candidates.
that's
I always
so
say,
good.
yeah, I always say that I feel like we hire just very genuine, hardworking people. It's not a cutthroat environment. Everyone there is really to support each other. Obviously, you want to hit your own goals. You want to make commission, but I think even more than that, you want to work in that collaborative environment. And that's why everyone that we hire is very genuine. They are genuinely excited when someone on their team makes their first placement or, you know, hits their next goal.
Totally.
So that's exactly what I tell my candidates all the time.
I love
And
that so much.
yeah. And kind of jumping into my next question, because we've talked about this before. Obviously, you've hired a lot of recent grads from our team, which we're obviously so appreciative of. And a lot of these recent college grads on your team, like you said, have seen so much success, but obviously probably came right out of school where they haven't had little to no experience in sales or recruiting. So for your team specifically, how have these, you know, new recent college grads, how have they seen success on your team? And what has the training been like to bring people in with little or no experience?
Yeah, totally. Really good question, and I actually have some info hot off the press in this topic. I talked to, I'll give a shout out to Katie Collins on our team, who has been awesome. She joined us from ECU last year. Go Pirates! We love our relationship with ECU down there in Greenville. And I think for me, it's one of the things that she said was that, you know, kind of going on what we were talking about with the supportive stuff, like just asking for a lot of advice, right? And kind of relying on those around you to be supportive. She mentioned like that, you know, her colleagues that are here in the office, you know, working together day in and day out, but also like family, right? And friends around to kind of just say like, hey, this is what I'm going for. It's like kind of hard to explain her to, like, I still think my mom doesn't really know what I do. Like she's like something with me, you know? So it's kind of, I think that like part of it is just really giving yourself some time to ramp up. And there are going to be ups and downs, right? Like there are times when you have that candidate that's interviewing and you know they're going to get selected and they ultimately don't, and it can feel pretty like heartbreaking in the moment, but when you look at it through a longer lens, it's actually good, right? Because it's a learning experience, and every single time you have something here, whether the outcome is what you want or maybe not what you wanted, you can still learn from it. And I think that as you kind of go, I think about it like each of those experiences adds a little pebble into like your little like, you know, pebble bag. And all of a sudden, like, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months into the job, you have this like big bag full of all these pebbles and all this experience. And I think that that's really the best way to learn the job is just learning by doing, right? So to me, as I was talking to our team about what makes people successful, and my team down here is very involved in our interview process with our recent grads, and I think can give a really good understanding of really what like the day-to-day nature of the job is. But for us, when we talked about it actually just this afternoon and kind of looking forward to this, it was really just like being willing to put in the work. And we say it all the time, like the job is hard in some ways, but in others it's easy. Like you're kind of just talking to people, you're asking questions, you're learning. And so that is the best way, in my opinion, for somebody to really pick it up is just to continue to do it consistently. I always say, consistency over intensity, like just taking baby steps, really like asking questions, not being afraid to kind of fall down sometimes. If you don't know the answer to a question, like it's totally cool. Get off the phone with somebody, ask a peer, ask a friend, ask me, ask your mentor, and they'll give it to you and they'll help. But from a training perspective, we actually, I think, have a really amazing training process. It's very immersive and I think gives people a bunch of different options. I feel like people learn really, really differently. So we have in our region, specifically within technology, kind of a four-pronged training approach. So first and foremost, our managers, our leaders here are extremely accessible. It's one of the kind of tenets of our region, I think, in our company overall, is you will have access to your manager at all times, and they will be available to, and again, sometimes you're in a meeting, maybe in the moment you can't, but they are very eager to give you advice and to be there for you so that you have that support system. So that's the first one, is kind of just like in the office, on the go training. Like I said, I think doing the job is the easiest way to learn. But for those that like to kind of learn a little bit differently or like review some training material, we have our e-university. So Jamie and our L&D team is amazing down here. They've come up with some really great content that helps everybody kind of slowly but surely to understand the different components of the job. So that e-university training is a series of a few weeks when you first join, and it's kind of all like kind of recorded material that you can digest and process at your own pace. We also have a regional leadership training process here within Lindsay Kaplan's region. And so that encompasses, I think, like either 8 or 12-week program with senior leaders all across our region. So you're talking about recruiting managers and business development managers and division directors and regional directors. Like Lindsay's got a good habits training that's definitely a classic that she does every year live for everybody in the region, which is amazing, just about time and prioritization and how to make sure you're really getting the most out of every day. So we have our specific leaders that all join, and again, you get to hear from like Caitlin in our New York City office, or Shane in Charlotte, or Ashley in Boston, and so you can kind of get a bunch of different perspectives and figure out your own style. And then, of course, we have, again, our kind of like live instructor-led trainings through our learning and development team. So you kind of get paired with a class, you go into a bunch of different role plays, and there's like, actually, I loved it one time. I got to do this like spinning, like kind of Wheel of Fortune thing, and it's like it's fun, and then you do a role play, and then somebody like kind of critiques you or gives you advice. And then we've obviously got our, intranet, which is a great like single. We call it Be Home here, so it's like a one-stop shop for everything, any question that you could ever need, whether it's benefits for somebody or certain sell sheets or materials or what to say or like background check stuff. So I feel like Beacon Hill over the years since I've been here has invested a ton in the infrastructure and just the support system for our new hires and our employees, so that you will have multiple different ways of accessing information, and then also a bunch of resources that you can use if you have a follow-up question or something that you kind of just like maybe missed or have to go back to.
Yeah, incredible. And like you said, I think the tech division does a really good job with training recent college grads, especially like you said, it's not just Raleigh, but it's pretty much all throughout the coast. Everyone's training together. And of course, that mentor program is so beneficial to have someone signed up with someone who works in a different office.
Uh,
So,
Beacon Hill
yeah.
Mentor Program is amazing. I had the fortune to participate in that a couple of years ago. And I still do. I'm still in touch with a lot of our mentors, but I will never forget one of my first mentors ever was in one of our offices in the Midwest. He's such a great guy. He's still with Beacon Hill today, and I think he's now a manager over his own team. And we mentored like every month for I think like a year, maybe more. And then I think the following year we were down at the Breakers at our President's Club trip, and I was sitting at breakfast, and I looked over, and my mentor was like right there at the President's Club table. And so we had talked about his, and again, kind of the same thing, like the job is not easy, right? It's not like you're going to walk in here and make $200,000 in your first year without having to work. But the trade-off is if you're willing to do that and you are a capable, good person, that really wants to make and build a career with a company that values you as your own individual self and not just a number or somebody to make X amount of cold calls to hit these metrics. It's like we look at every employee individually and holistically, and we support their growth path, whatever that may be for that person. And so I think for this person that I mentored a couple years ago, we had gone through some of those conversations, and I think maybe COVID had come in and they had lost a few placements, and we're kind of just like, oh man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. And then so 2 years later, to see that person as one of the top performers at Beacon Hill, enjoying President's Club, which is just absolutely amazing, and now going on to kind of carry that tradition and lead, their own team and bring that success to other people, I think is what us as leaders, certainly here in Raleigh and technologies and just across the whole country and company, I think that those are some of the things that really drive us now more than anything, right? Is like, let's give this experience that we had. Let's share the magic that is Beacon Hill with the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that we just hit $1 billion for the first time 2 years ago. I think the goal in everyone's mind now is to get to 2 billion, right? So to do that, we need some really amazing people to come and help us do that.
Yeah. And I think that's such a special moment being able to see your mentor at President's Club because that's obviously so hard to hit and it's such a rewarding milestone. So I feel like that was probably such an incredible
It was
moment
like
for both of
so
you.
I was like, dude, what? And it's like it was like so good. And he met my wife, and it just again, there's nothing that makes me happier than seeing people come in and work hard and succeed and find the success. Because I think Beacon Hill does such a great job of recognizing that. Like we had somebody actually on my team already. What is it? It's like May right now. We had somebody on my team that's already hit President's Club for the year. We just had another staffing consultant on our team that's been here about a year and a half, hit a huge 10K milestone, which is really amazing, coming in with no industry experience. So I feel like that part of it, and like one of the things that to me has meant a lot at Beacon Hill is that when you achieve that milestone or when you kind of get that huge win, everybody celebrates and everybody's excited for you. And I think that it's just super, to me, again, really meaningful and really compelling when I see people come in and kind of give it their all, because I believe that if you're willing to do that for a consistent period of time, it will be returned back to you tenfold.
Yeah, absolutely. And, obviously a lot of people watching this might be going through the interview process right now, or maybe just like on your team, we have a couple hires starting this summer.
Yeah.
So what advice do you have for anyone starting brand new into staffing, brand new into Beacon Hill, and how they can, see success here?
I think that it's like showing up every day with the right mindset. I actually just did a training on this, and I think that mindset piece of it is like so important, right? Of just believing in yourself, staying positive, believing in those around you, and being willing to work for your success, right? I remember I met somebody at a career fair last year, and I was like, "What do you want to do?" And they're like, "I want to make 100 grand," and I was like, "All right, great. Like, you want to do $100,000 worth of work?" And he was like, so caught off guard by the question, and so I think that would be my advice is like if you're looking for an opportunity to come in here and or come to any company and just make an impact and really like grow something that again, like I started in a staffing consultant role 9 years ago at this company, and now I manage a team of 13 people, um, and it's been one of the most exciting things that I've done in my whole life. So I think I don't mean that to like boost myself up. I mean that as something that I believe that anyone can come and do that same thing. So to me, some of the actual like advice or the tricks that I would have, number one is like show up every day with that great mindset, believe in yourself, believe that you can make it happen, and don't be afraid to put in the good old fashioned hard work to actually achieve those results. I think number two is ask questions, right? Like that's one of the awesome things that I feel, like I said before, is that we're so supportive, and I think that people are really invested in your success. So being like, if you don't understand something, it's kind of like if you're in class, right? And everyone's like, "Do you have any questions?" Like you have one, but you don't want to raise your hand and ask it. Like you're like, raise your hand, ask that question, make sure you have an understanding, use the resources at your disposal, but like be curious, right? And like try to figure out, hey, why is this happening, or why does this customer need this, or what's going on with this candidate? So I think curiosity, mindset, and then just kind of um, figuring out like what your why is also really important to us, right? So for some people, it's very, financially oriented. Like, hey, I want to make, like I was just at lunch with one of our team members today, and we were talking about a trip that she was able to take her mom on to go to Paris. So it was like something that she had always like dreamed of doing, and she was able to pay for her and her mom to go and tour and stay in these fancy hotels and have this like trip of a lifetime. So figuring out like what that why is and what really drives you. I was talking to one of our recent grads from 2023 this afternoon, and she was basically like, figure out what it is that you want to do and figure out what motivates you and then use that to push yourself through and to really drive.
Mhm.
So I think for me, that kind of idea of just being willing to come in, really like leave your inhibitions behind you, don't be embarrassed about anything, just be curious, have the right mindset, want to work really hard, but don't just like say you want to work really hard, like you actually have to if you want if you want to
Yep.
win, if you want to make it work.
Yep.
So I think again, it's like the job is not rocket science. I think the community around you is extremely motivating. They are extremely invested in you and your support, whether it's someone that's been here with us for a year or somebody that's been here for 10 years. We all want to see the company grow. We want to see each other win, and we want to celebrate those things to no end. So I just think it's like, be yourself is the other thing too of like we don't have this corporate culture where it's so like stuck and rigid and shadowy. It's like one of the things that I really love is the diversity that we do have on our team from backgrounds, from mindsets, from education. Like I think you are really empowered to be your own person here. And as you learn and as you gain experience from those around you that maybe have been here a little longer or have a little bit more, history, you can use all of their advice and all the things that have helped them and really create like your own style. And it's one of the things like Kendall on our team now, I say all the time is like he's got such a unique personality and he's so likable and he's really able to be like that on the phone and his candidates really appreciate him for that. So he gets shout outs on like our Google all the time. He's actually on vacation this week and I've had two candidates already reach out to me like, hey, I got referred to Kendall by one of my friends who said they had a great experience. So I think just like being able to, it's one of those places where you really can just be who you are and feel comfortable being that even within a corporate and professional
Mhm.
environment.
Amazing. I think everyone watching this wants to work in Raleigh now
Come
on
on
your team.
down. Come on down. Let's do it. All right.
No, you have really built, I keep saying this, but you have built such a great team. And I mean, it speaks for itself, the success that your team has had, but also just, how great of a leader you are. So, Alec, thank you so much for taking, your time today before the long weekend to chat with us. I'm super excited for everyone who's going to be interviewing for your team and just Raleigh in general, and just appreciate you being here today.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate the opportunity. I say it all the time. I'm obsessed with our team down here. Caitlin is like, you shouldn't really say that all the time, but I really am. Like, we have such a great group, and I think for anybody that wants to come in and help us to take over, whether it's technologies or associates or life sciences or financial down here, I think that really anybody would be fortunate to come and play a part in the growth that I am sure we'll continue to encounter down here. But I blame it all on the team. I think it's very little me and very much those that you and the campus team has helped us to find. And I just appreciate the opportunity to come and share some of our story. So thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, of course. Well, we're always here to find great candidates for your team. But thank you again, and hope you have a great weekend.
Awesome. Thanks, Allie.
Of
See
course.
you soon.
All
Bye.
right, bye.